shout out to Hoop Shark, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Shark. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Shark. Shout out to Hoop
Shark.
Man, shout out to Hoop Jordan. Appreciate y'all joining me for another live stream. I'm doing 2 for 1. I'm giving y'all endless entertainment, god dog it. And this is a subject matter that I think that needs to be discussed, man. As y'all see by the cap, you know I'm a Lakers fan. No cap over here. And I do want to address something that was presented to me by a brother I met at this great convention, the Black Management Meetup in Atlanta. And I'm going to bring him up in a second about the validity of LeBron James's legacy. Now, I know when you talk about a subject as intricate as this, as a subject as sensitive as this, that there's going to be detractions off the, on the front end. I understand that. And so shout out to FYF Sports. He said this is clickbait. Not necessarily. Now, I understand that LeBron James has a career that is second to not very many people. However, there is scrutiny to be had. So we're just going to assess, is there elements of it that could be overrated? And I did say in my comment to start off that, as you see, when I talked about Westbrook not being a good fit for the for the Lakers, you had some pushback, and I told you it wouldn't be a good fit. And I saw you in the community tab. You put on there that he's on the market to be moved. So we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth, but I respect your hoop mind. But you did give me pushback last time I talked about my Lakers. So I'm just saying, bro, just wait till you get wait till you get the information. All right. Rap God say what's happening, man. You know, hoop jogging is what's happening, baby. Shout out to all the early birds, man. Celine, hoopy hoop. Here y'all go with this hoopy hoop shit. I'll take it. And I say, Man's Fair has some of the funniest content about Black women. Well, we got a lot about our women and men as well. Say, yo, we here between the game sports. My running dog, my Kobe to my Shaq, or whoever you want to say Shaq is Kobe. AD's game is suffering, in my humble opinion. Yes, that too. We'll get to all that. But without further ado, I want to bring up a fellow hooper, my man, Sub-Zero.
Yo, what's up? What's happening?
Man, nothing much, man. Talk to the people and tell them, how you got the ability to speak on basketball. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
So, I was probably a guy who wasn't. I'm only about 6'1", 6'2". Didn't have a lot of natural talent. Born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama. Didn't really touch a ball in any type of capacity until I was in the 7th grade. I had the drive. I wanted it. I wasn't this great ball player, but I kept working, put my head down. Eventually, I was able to wind up going to Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil, after having played college at Tuskegee University.
Shout out Tuskegee.
Yeah, right. That's right. The T, the U, we are.
That's the land of Derrick Jackson, huh? You like that one?
Hey, man. Hey, I can make a video about that one. But he from Enterprise. I'm from Montgomery. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, what's up? Anyway, but great. I played for Ben Job at Tuskegee, which So let me explain who Ben Job is. Ben Job.
Hold on 1 second, Sub. I got it. I'm so sorry. I just got through talking about Ben Job coaching at Southern, and I was going to leave Stephen F. Austin to go to Southern University, and Ben Job had just got fired. Legendary Ben Job, but I'm gonna let you keep rocking, man.
Okay.
I didn't know he coached at Tuskegee.
So now let me say this, guys. If you're not familiar with Ben Job is the black coach that got taught by James Naismith. Okay. So as far as basketball concerned, I'm gonna tell my son this when he get older. Is from the man that created the game to Ben Job to me, damn it. I played for it. I played this. I ran his offense. I did what I was supposed to do. I played the game. I'm
crazy.
As a Warrior, like in anybody that has played at any type of college level or higher, it's a certain level of respect. It's like a fraternity. Of course, NBA is gonna feel the same way. If a guy played D2, D3, I don't care. If he's NAIA, that guy is certain things that you can talk about as a ball player, and we all can relate to.
Absolutely.
And so if I say, hey, the eye test, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? It's the reason they're talking about trading Anthony Davis right now. Because in this day and age, it's all about stats. So people will go to the internet. Well, I mean, he had X amount of points, X amount of rebounds. And I mean, you can't really say, so it just depends on what the narrative is. Because right now, as we look at it, presently constructed, Westbrook is on the chopping block, but he's almost averaging a triple-double with LeBron James on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Quietly. He's like, if he has a couple of games with a bunch of rebounds and assists, and another game with a bunch of assists, he pull those averages up, he's going to mess around being averaged another triple-double on the team with the Lakers. But I don't, by any stretch, think that you can win with Russell Westbrook. I would not want him on my team.
You're going to get no pushback on this channel for that. And I made several videos that got pushback, and that's why I led in with. So, yeah, no, you'll get no pushback over here.
Yeah, and he's a great physical specimen, great athlete, just not a smart basketball player. And I think that he has made a lot of ill-advised decisions in late games where it was a hit or miss situation. He made key turnovers. You can always trust him to do, and if I'm a coach, I'm going to trap him by trusting him to go in the lane, ill-advised, and then you collapse on him and he jumps in the air without knowing where he's going to throw the ball, which you should know that in like the 5th grade, not to leave your feet without knowing where you're going to lead him, especially as a point guard, but he doesn't. And so he'll do that. And this guy's been in the league 15, 16 years doing this. So at this juncture, I just don't see him as a smart player, but I want him to stay with the Lakers. I don't want him.
No, we don't. Nope.
I want him. Let me tell you why. We're gonna get there. Let me stop talking. Go ahead. I got a lot of reasons why. Let's go.
Don't wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't do that. Don't do it. Well, so and I like how you preface your statements that there's a general level of respect that we got. Even if we critique people harder than others, there's still a general level of respect that we have for basketball players. No matter because I don't like Russell Westbrook. Everybody know me. But I would never say he's trash. I would never say he can't hoop. Because to you get to that level with that limited IQ that you have, that just shows how great you are on damn near everything else. Well, besides shooting. You know what I mean? So I do want to respect the level. And shout out again to my boy Between Game Sports. We talked about that in our stream. Like when you play against NBA level, when you're in the same room with NBA level, you know what that feels like compared to you having played college, having played overseas. NBA is a whole different stride. And what we said, Sub, is we talked about Carmelo Anthony. We played in a speaking of Carmelo, a fellow Laker. This just sound weird saying that. It don't even sound right. So Carmelo Anthony, same age as me. We played in a tournament our senior year. And Carmelo Anthony played exactly how he played now when he was in freaking 12th grade. Exact same way. And when I saw that, I was just like, damn. In my naive mind, I still thought I could go to NBA being 6'7". But I knew that dude right there, I can't mess with that dude. Like, I don't know what he learned. I don't know who taught him the Jedi tricks. I don't know nothing about that. So there are levels to this, like Meek Mill so eloquently said many years ago. So, but let's get to it. So I want to give him background that you're not just some dude in a suit behind an avatar, that you actually got some basketball experience at a high level playing under Coach Jobe, which I told you I almost did under Southern. If y'all played back my live stream from earlier, I kind of went over that. But let's get into it, man. LeBron Ramon James.
Yes, sir.
Is his legacy overrated? So I'll yield the floor to you to kind of state your beginning part of your thesis, man. What do you think about the legacy that is LeBron Ramon James?
I'm going to say it like this, man. As far as LeBron James, let me first start by saying he is either a top 10 to top 5 talent, okay? So when I say what I'm about to say, take in mind there should not be any anger. I shouldn't be called a hater if I say that the guy is one of the 10 best players to ever play, or at least 5 best of all time, then you should never say, "Oh my God, he's a hater." No, I'm not a hater. I'm just speaking my opinion. Now, the reason I would say he's overrated, this is just from my own experience. I can never respect you as a ball player if you have to, like, you ever been to the gym, and that's why I like to talk to ballers. You ever been to the gym and seen that guy that he looks at who's playing, he say, "You know what, I don't want to play with them." So he'll move down 3-4 players. He'll call his friends. They'll wait till he's like, "Hey, you know what, man, go ahead. Y'all go ahead. Then he'll get his 5. He get 2 guys that play overseas, a guy that played college. He the weakest link, but he might even can play, but it doesn't matter because he stacked his team with the best talent, right?
Okay.
And it's like, okay, you stacked your team with the best talent. But then the reason I don't really feel like I feel like his legacy is overrated. He's the first player in modern history that I've ever noticed. Nobody ever talks about this. He's the first player I've noticed in modern history that infiltrated the media. He is
interesting.
He has infiltrated the media to the tune of, like, when you listen to Michelle Beadle, when you listen to people that have worked at ESPN that don't work there, like a Paul Pierce that got terminated. These people they spill the beans, and this is, I'm not even getting into his stats yet. I'm just talking about
the overarching aura of him.
Spill the beans that he has power at these networks, and he wields that power with an iron fist. And he will, if you don't think that he is the greatest, you will be removed. If you don't think, if you dare challenge his authority as the greatest of all time, right? And if you don't call out ESPN, notice ESPN has done a myriad of times. ESPN has went and decided to say, you know what, we're gonna cherry pick these stats, and we're gonna say that, well, LeBron James is more clutch than Michael Jordan, and they just say that in a sentence. And what they're really doing is they went and they said, okay, we can't go regular season because Jordan has way more. Even though Jordan only played 11 full seasons, and we're gonna get into all this, Jordan only played 11 full seasons in Chicago. Jordan still has 7 more game-winning shots than LeBron James. What they mean by he's more clutch is they're talking about the playoffs, right? These are, and I'm saying this about the media. They're not being honest. They're cherry picking stats. They're doctoring. Well, LeBron James is the first player with a toothache to go and hit. I'm like, damn, what is this stat? Why do you bring up these crazy stats to try to prop him up? And I started realizing, man, this guy has bought out the media. He has Shannon Sharp. He has Nick Wright. He has.
We know he got Nick Wright.
Yeah, he has Jason
and Shannon Sharp too. Yeah, they about the same.
And the thing is, guys, I'm not by any stretch none of what I said is tearing down or diminishing him. Okay? What I'm saying is, I have to take a notch off you if you need to buy the media. If you need to go and get Shannon Sharp to make excuses for why you threw the ball off the rack and caught it and dunked it, then you showed up with a rap. And then you lied. This is a story. He literally lied and said that he punched the chalkboard.
Yeah.
And then the people in Golden State came out and said there was no chalkboard that was cracked.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's the official story, right? You have people like Brian Windhorst in the media. You push and get a little testy with him. Brian Windhorst, who's supposed to be nutrient, who's supposed to be neutral, decides to, hey, look at this. He swung at your nuts. You probably can get him suspended. This is what they did. And this guy got suspended, right? You got guys like J.R. Smith. These are just, I'm not even going into LeBron and the stats and none of that yet. On his legacy. I'm just talking about just things that are factual that have taken place that have helped him, that people completely ignore. Or I'm talking about the fact that the media will ignore the whole idea of the fact that they're lying. They've been caught lying about stats. They've even said there have been games where they said he had a triple-double and he didn't.
Damn.
Like, why is that? He's the first player that's been done for, right? And so now he sees all these debate shows. He's like, what if I get into one of these guys and I get one of these guys on my side? What will that do for me? And so right now, if you're going to work for ESPN, you have to toe certain lines. That's why you see Stephen A. Smith saying, well, he's a great father. He's a great philanthropist. He's this, he's that. But you shouldn't have to do that. This is basketball.
And let me sidebar real quick, because I made a meme that went like dumb viral in 2015 that just was playing around. And luckily I put my earmarker on it back when we didn't know what memes, we didn't know what viral was like that in 2015, not like that. And it's literally something I posted in my sports group that got reposted through America, the world. And I was just searching that. That's why my head was down. But I made this meme, and it was prophetic. It says, LeBron's the first player after 1973 to have 5 points, 3 rebounds in the first 6 minutes while shooting 68% from the floor with the air at 75 degrees. So it's funny because that's what ESPN, you remember like the meme preface was like, exactly. ESPN be like, as y'all see in the water market, what does it say? At Hoop Jargon. So this was back when, again, this was early, like I was probably like early 30s. You know what I'm saying? And so I put it out because, and then it just caught fire on the internet. So I never got credit for it as far as, getting no type of monetary gain, but that it went stupid viral because it's like what they say, the best jokes are laced in truth. And to your point, these manufactured, and as my boy Will said, these Frankenstein stats, they lead to this disdain because it does lead to the overall mystique of a player. And if you control the media, what they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. So this is not a far-fetched notion as we move forward. So go ahead, sir.
I went to a Lakers game back in 2019, 2018. They came to Atlanta. It was the game right before the year that they didn't make the playoffs, right? And LeBron, they came to Atlanta. It was before the All-Star break, and the crowd was booing, right? Because they just weren't impressed with him. You know what I'm saying? I literally was there at the game, right? And at the end of the game, I think he had something like 36 points, which I'll get to that in a second. But I said, I'm going to go and hold my nose and watch all these sports shows tomorrow and see what they say, because they was already talking about trading the whole thing, right? Yeah. And I hate it because it's hard, because it angers me to watch it. I'm like, call the game fair, right? As much as I'm a Michael Jordan guy all day, but when Kobe did his thing, I'd be a hater if I didn't say around 2004, Kobe was for real, right? Yeah. I would be a hater. I said, man, come on, man. Kobe was 2000. I say around 2005. 2005 Kobe.
05, 06. Kobe's unstoppable.
That was just ridiculous, right? Yeah. And so I hadn't seen that since Michael Jordan. And so for people to sit up here and say that LeBron has ever been that, I've never seen that. I've never seen LeBron be a guy who, and this is what I mean by as a ball player. There's a difference in a guy who can, as the game is running up and down the floor, we getting dunks, he getting a bunch of layups, or he getting a few fouls, he might hit a jumper here and there. And he got, over the course of the game, he got 28 points, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's a difference when the guy has 12. Like when I went to see Kobe, when he was playing Joe Johnson one time in Atlanta, right? And I'm sitting like right near courtside, and I'm watching. And Kobe, the whole court game was just almost like he was just halfway playing. He had like 12, 14 points. Kobe wound up with 36. Kobe went, and that fourth quarter came, he woke up. And you could just see the difference between him and everybody on the floor, right? Mm-hmm. The difference with LeBron is he brings a certain level of athleticism and mixed with a certain level of agility in size. But I'll never take that and poo-poo that and say he's a scrub. No, LeBron is not a scrub, right? I would trade careers with LeBron, and I'm sure everybody would, right?
Exactly.
So nobody's saying, and I just said the guy's one of the best 5 to 10 players that ever played the game. But when I hear him, and another reason I'm not a fan, as I listen to him talk off the court about Michael Jordan, he would try to diminish Mike's greatness. Like, for example, when I think it was, he was talking about the Portland championship back when Mike was playing, and he said, well, he didn't have anything to do with that 3 that Paxson hit or something. He said Scottie Pippen or Horace Grant passed him the ball. He didn't touch it. What LeBron left out was Michael Jordan scored all 16 points in the fourth quarter that the whole team had, right? I'm like, they wouldn't have even been that close for Paxson to hit that shot had Michael
didn't go do his job.
Straight frenzy, right? And for him to ignore that and leave that, not LeBron is a stat. And another thing, he's a statistician. He's very into stats. And what we have to do is we have to be able to dislodge somebody that's a statistical fanatic from someone that is really about that life. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I don't
think misses don't matter. I'm trying to win.
Exactly. Like like for example, and this is the type of thing I'm talking about. There are people that will literally think that Stephen A. Smith got his butt handed to him by what's the guy name? What's the guy? JJ Redick, right?
JJ Redick. Okay.
And the question was, who was more feared, LeBron, Jordan, or Kobe? And I'm just sitting like, nobody feared. I've never seen anybody afraid of LeBron. If anything, people are talking crazy to LeBron, and after the game, they're going to go get a drink with him, right? LeBron's going to probably go to the club. They're going to all hang out together. It's not the same. Kobe, if you dare utter some shit about Kobe, look out. The next game, everybody was watching because you were looking for an ass whipping. And when Kobe got hurt, that late in his career, the guy hurt him. I think the guy made him break his ankle, did something to him. And Kobe wanted to play the guy from Duke, Dante Jones or whatever. He was like, man, I can't wait to play him next year to kill it. Like, that's the mentality. He was a killer.
That's what Kobe's on.
Assassin, right?
You know what? Okay, I like that because that's been LeBron's MO forever. It's been like, we buddies, but I'm gonna like stab the shit out your ass in the back.
Exactly.
Arm on your shoulder, but I'm gonna hit you in the ribs. Yeah, because it's almost like kill you with kindness. It's like it's hard to hate him because that's your homie, that's your peer. And I give Draymond Green a lot of credit because he actually tried to make a legit enemy out of LeBron. And to your point, I never thought of it this way. Who's really just, outright said that I don't like that dude. He dirty. I want to take him out because LeBron is with that. Again, that buddy up stuff, because and you can, guys in the comments, y'all can detest this, but when a dude is so congenial that he wants to be in your favor, it's hard to hate him. It's hard to hate him. And guys, generally, this is just a psychology thing. You generally pull up a little bit when you kind of like the guy. And it's easier to get up for a guy you just hate, a guy you just don't like because they're aloof, because they're combative, because they're competitive in the sense where their personality is off-putting. And that's what Kobe Bryant was. He did not care about being that guy. So to juxtapose the two, it does kind of soften the competition from a mental standpoint if you kind of like the guy. And it's hard to kind of go at his neck the same way you would as somebody who you would view as, quote unquote, like an asshole. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I have no problem with a person saying LeBron James is a great player. But as I watch him based on the eye test, I have never seen anyone that fears him like that. He's not a guy that you would fear. LeBron James is not a guy that you go out and say, oh my God, so-and-so said this on Twitter. Let's see if LeBron gives him 55 or 60, right? You're not going to see that. Now, LeBron has games where he hit 50. He has games where he went for 50. I'm never going to say he's never did it, but I honestly feel like he didn't know the shit was going to happen. It's not like he did it on purpose. It's one of those, like I had a game where I went for like 47, right? I didn't know the shit was going to happen.
Yeah.
It just happened because I couldn't just turn it on and just like, you done made me mad. I'm giving you 50.
Yeah.
Kobe, if you piss Kobe off, you're going for 50. Now, we're not even going to talk about Michael Jordan, right? Because this is well documented that if you say something to Michael Jordan, if you even look at him wrong, you're going to get 50 points. He's going to destroy you and probably try to rip your heart out your chest and end your career. Now, the fact that JJ Redick, who played in the NBA, he knows this, man. I'm a ball player. You a ball player. You know damn well LeBron ain't got that killer instinct. He's not a guy. He does not have a killer instinct. Everybody says that. But for
it come and goes. It come and goes. I think I've seen it, but then I think Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it come and goes. I've seen it, so I'm not gonna act like
the
that.
The fact that it come and goes, I wouldn't call that a killer instinct.
Fair enough. That's fair.
I call it killer instinct.
Let me say this, sir.
Go ahead.
For those who didn't play on a high level, college and above, there's a pecking order on the court, man. Like me, I was real good, and I didn't mind having the ball in the clutch, but it wasn't like, yo, give me the motherfucking ball. Y'all get the fuck out the way. I wasn't that kind of guy. I was like, hey, if I get it, cool. I'm gonna do something with it because I know what to do with it. There's a difference between a guy like me who like, yeah, I can handle it if you give it to me, and a guy like, give me the goddamn ball, get the hell out the way. There's a difference. There's a huge difference with those kind of guys. And it's funny how basketball is a microcosm of life. Guys who are like that, people generally, because I consider myself more of an alpha type guy. But when it was I think that's an apex alpha. When it was a guy like that, bro, you got it. You better not miss it now. I'm going to get on your ass if you do some bullshit. But I'll defer to a guy like that who got those kind of stones where I'm taking it and it's make or miss, win or lose on my whim, and I don't care what the results are because it's going through me. There's a lot of credence to a person who has that type of personality because it's not the same. It's not the same.
That's it. And my thing is, man, ultimately, let me say this, man. I'll be the first. Like I said, LeBron James is a great talent. Okay, I got to keep saying that because one thing I've noticed about black.
Hold on, so I got to do it. I see this comment. I can't let it roll. LeBron ain't even a scorer first. He's gonna end up being the greatest scorer of all time. That man's a GOAT. See, this is that fanboy shit that I don't like. LeBron James is a scorer, dog. LeBron James has the ball in his hand. We talk about efficiency rate in his hand more than we've seen in the history of basketball.
Exactly.
So this is that shit y'all do. Y'all, as in the cult of LeBron is what I call y'all, cultites, LeBronites. Y'all try to remanufacture reality with, dude, if the hands ain't in your ball that much with all that ability, you're gonna have a lot of attempts to score, especially in this era where you cannot hand check, where there's like you cannot play illegal defense. It's more stringent. So you're gonna have a lot of attempts at a scoring opportunity. So he is a scorer. The problem is he's not a skilled tactician of scoring.
Hold on, so, I got him real surgically, bro. I got him.
Yeah, so go ahead. I just want to address that because this is like a 2015 trope, though. You don't really see this no more, but now he bring it back 2015.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead. Michael Jordan, first of all, came in the league 2 years older. Michael Jordan, by the time he retired in 1998, because I'm not really counting the 2 years where he played when he was 40 years old and smoking cigars, okay? I'm talking about the years when Mike came back. And Mike came back the first time. There were only 11 seasons where Mike played over. Actually, yeah. So I'm going 1984 through 1998, and then 1985 through 1998. That's 13. But then you got 2 seasons where he didn't even play 20 games. That's 1985-86 and 1994-95. Michael Jordan is third on an all-time scoring list with 11 full seasons. Michael Jordan.
That's interesting.
Michael Jordan was he is the most efficient. When I say efficient, I mean one of the best scorers.
Agree with that.
The best scorer we've ever seen. The man only played 11 seasons, and it took this man 17 years to pass him. Let that sink in.
That's interesting.
But you're going to call this man the GOAT when he played what this man is on like his 19th season. As if nobody counts. Well, he got to play 19 seasons. Like, I love Steph Curry, right? But Steph Curry shoots 12, 13 threes a game. You go back and look at Ray Allen. You go back and look at some of the greatest shooters.
The game was different. Yeah.
They shot 3 to 4 threes a game, man.
Yes, the game's different.
I mean, and I love Steph. Somebody's going to pass his record because now you've changed it where everybody's going to shoot 30 threes a game now. So,
but look at Larry Bird, though, Sub. Larry Bird is the pound for pound probably best shooter ever. His percentages don't agree with that because his era, you didn't shoot threes.
No, you
didn't grow up shooting threes. So you got to factor in that and grow. Man, GK, goddamn, I don't know. Suave, I'm gonna call you Suave. No, I mean it's not necessarily I'm calling you a fanboy. I'm saying your take is a fanboy take because it's not genuine in the sense that you bring up raw stats but devoid of context.
Exactly.
So you can say he passed first. You can say that. But in a given game, LeBron James takes as many attempts as the next man. It's just that
LeBron James played 19 seasons. Michael Jordan played 11 And if you can, go ahead and throw the other two in there. Throw the other two in there. 13 seasons that were full seasons. Now, we can't count a season where he played 17 games, can we? I mean, if you want to count that and say, well, he played, that counts as a season. If we're going to do that, we're going to do the same. We're going to count against LeBron James later in other areas where he's not even making freaking playoffs right now. In certain instances where he didn't, that counts. I don't want to hear about he got injured because he played 63 games. You see how that works? So, I mean, when you start talking about this guy surpassing everybody and being on the list, he's trying to because
it's contrived.
He doesn't have the hardware, and so he's going to try to win the championships. So people like you and all the sports media are going to say he's the greatest ever. He's bought the media. He's raised a generation of players, and I mean, young people that have grown up, all they've ever seen is him. So now it's like, oh my God, LeBron. That's all you see 24/7. ESPN. That's all you see.
Jordan benefited from that too, though. Jordan benefited from marketing too, because they called him the greatest player after his first three, and that was bullshit.
Hold on. They did.
I'm gonna give Jordan pushback on that too. I have no
problem with that because they said it. Mike didn't say it. LeBron said he's the greatest.
That's fair.
LeBron has said he's the greatest because he beat the
Golden State.
And
he got Draymond
all time. It's a few different things that actually took place that we just want to forget. But see, that's when you play a championship, there are excuses when LeBron loses. They're not excuses.
We all know that.
J.R. Smith purposely rolls up under Andrew Bogut and hurts his knee. I saw that, right? We just gonna act like that didn't happen, right? We act like J.R. Smith wasn't trying to hurt Kevin Durant, kicking his foot out from under him whenever he would shoot a three. He would try to put his foot under Kevin. Go back and watch it. He always tried to hurt people. These are just little things that I saw that he benefited from. And it worked the first time, and it got him a championship in 2016. Because if Bogut doesn't get hurt, he doesn't get in the lane, and he loses again.
Because Festus Ezeli, oh my God, and that series, Lord have mercy.
The whole thing. This is the thing, man. And I like it, but let's just keep it above. LeBron is a genius at getting stats at key moments, so that you can get off his ass and say he got his points. Right?
Because people box watch. People just box watch. That's what Russell Westbrook does.
Because he knows that's why I say he's the first to ever say, I'm going to play the media. I see the way the media works. I'm going to play it. They look at stats and they argue stat lines. So what I'm going to do is fill up that stat line as meaningless as possible. For example, in the bubble, the man went 6 games with a injury depleted Miami Heat, right? He gets out there in game 6 and rides in stat pads on purpose, right? All the people that are fanboys, not calling anybody a fanboy, but I'm just saying, people that are, LeBron he got X amount of finals MVPs. The man went out there and stat pad against like the second squad, man, to get his points up to make sure he got it. He wasn't going to get it. They probably was going to give it to Anthony Davis. But this
he knew what time it was.
But nobody talks about this. My thing is fair, man. Kobe, look, when Mike won, damn it, they didn't even go to a game 6. He didn't need to hit no damn game winners shots in no playoffs because the game wasn't close. They played less games in the first round. See, they'll say, well, he has more playoff wins. First of all, he played more seasons. And in the first round in the 90s, they used to play 5 games in the first round.
That's true.
That's not Jordan's fault. So, yeah, he has more wins, but shit, Mike didn't play but 3 rounds. If I'm talking about for like 4 or 5 years, they would just do 5. The first round would be 5 best of 5 to try to get it over with. That's what I'm saying. Like, look, man, when somebody comes along, and there will be somebody greater than Michael Jordan, somebody's going to be I don't think like that. I love Michael Jordan. I love Kobe. But they're going to be better players. When they come, I want them to come and take it from Kobe. Come take it from Michael Jordan. But if you're going to play with, probably when this man retires, he will have played with who's who of this man will have played with probably 12, 13 Hall of Famers, man. Come on. He's played about 3 or 4 top 75. I mean, let's keep it a buck because they put Anthony Davis' sorry ass on there. It counts. I'm sorry, he does not deserve to be a top 75. But since you want to,
I like AD, man. Man, he make it hard to argue on his behalf.
That's count. I agree with that. But that counts. So you playing with another top 75. I don't know. I don't even know if Bosh made it. I need to check and see if Bosh made it. But this is what I'm talking about. You got all these guys that are like Hall of Famers, All-Stars, who's who. His game, his whole thing he brought to the game was free agency. That's what he did. He took free agency.
Open market free agency.
Yes, that's how he changed it. He changed the game
he did.
by creating a bunch of super teams. And
I give him credit for that.
As a competitor, I'll never respect it, though. I'll never look at a guy that stacks his team and put him over Kobe or Jordan. I cannot do it. That super team shit, excuse my French, is weak. That is what I feel, and that's never going to change. Now, if LeBron James goes out here and go head-to-head with Kevin Durant, and it's just him and maybe one other guy that's an all-star, and Kevin Durant got one all-star, and he checking Kevin Durant one-on-one, and they going at it, that's what I want to see.
It ain't happening. You don't play defense like that. So.
When you go up against him, when he goes up against him, he's going to probably put some no-name guy's going to check Durant. Durant's going to give him the business. And this is how I know this is true. The 2 championships where Durant won Game 3 in Cleveland, go back and look at this. Third quarter, there are always key moments when the game burst open, right, in the finals. In Game 3 of the finals, both times, Kevin Durant got the ball. It was a crucial moment. Kevin Durant's running up court. They making a run. Cleveland's making a run. LeBron James, you can go look this up. Look this man in his face. Saw him. Could have picked him up. But he made the decision to fall back and let J.R. Smith check him. Well, he wet J.R. Smith up every time. One, he broke the game open. He did that every time, both years, and he refused. He cowered. He ran. I call him a coward. I still think he's, like I say, he's one of the 10 greatest. But the man's a coward. And one of the things I don't like, another thing I don't like, us as black men, because some guy made an investment and started a school.
Are you going there?
I got to. Because he started a school, Lord, because he put Rich Paul, his friends on, and man, they got Maverick Carter, he doing this, man, he making investments. You pulling the black man down. Look, we talking ball. We talking basketball. I'm a warrior, bro. We talking ball. That's all we talking. Off the court, I don't care about his philanthropy. Hey, great father, married the mother of his kids. Hey, more power to him. You never hear me drag the man about his kids, about being a father. I think he's a great father. I'm talking about that ball, though. Yeah. I'm talking about putting that ball in that hole, and I'm talking about being a warrior. And I don't see that. What I see is a coward. That's what I see. I see a guy who does not even want to play the whole damn season. This man played 82 games once his whole damn career.
I didn't know that.
This man, look, I can go ahead and look. I got the stats right in front of me. The guy,
I didn't know that.
Played, when he first got in the league, 79, 80, 79, 78, 74, 81, 76, 79, 62, 70, 76, 77, 69. You see, he's never played he didn't play a full season. He did it on purpose. In what year was that? I don't got the year, but he did it a few years ago. He played up to 82 games. And that's it. That's what I'm talking about.
So let me interject. And this is what I've always kind of said about LeBron. Natural skill set, unmatched. I'd be a fool, you'd be a fool to dispute that he ain't the most naturally gifted person we've seen. But he is the master of the optics. Because the reality, I'm sorry, guys. I know most people in this chat think you're this great basketball savant. Reality is you're probably not. Because his brand is so strong that they tell you a lot of things that are ancillary that gives you props. And you mentioned the school, which is a public school, which the city of Akron pays for. But in the optics of bigging up LeBron, in reality, his foundation put up, $1 million of his foundation. If y'all know how foundations are raised, basically it's like money you pool together from other people. And I'm not knocking him for that because you're using funds that other people gave to you to put towards a good cause. Fair enough. But to say he built a school when a guy like Jalen Rose really built a school, but he put the front money up for a public institution, I don't give you credit for that. If you're trying to sidebar actual, like you said, ball. If we're talking actual hoop stuff, I don't give you credit for that. Now, I don't discredit you for it, but it's not enough to try to step in to impede a la like Colin Kaepernick. Like, I love Colin Kaepernick, the football player, but now his actual stuff, I got questions about stuff he says, because if you ask Colin Kaepernick, he don't have a lot to say about this so-called, protest he got going. When you ask him, he don't have a lot to say. So I got questions, even though I got a Colin Kaepernick jersey hanging in my closet right now. I've always liked Colin Kaepernick. So the optics don't measure up with the career is the point I'm making. So in this instance, you got to watch it because, to your point, Sub, LeBron has mastered the art of the sliding hand, almost like some Chris Angel shit, where you believe the whole thing and you don't necessarily know why you believe it. Chris Angel pulled a lot of tricks off, and I don't want to say that LeBron is like hollow, that he can't hoop, but a lot of the outer stuff, the stats, as it were, the storylines.
The reason you're saying that is because he fails the eye test. You know,
I won't disagree with that.
When it comes down to it, you don't think you can really trust this guy in a real high pressure moment.
But I don't want to disrespect him though. But I agree with that.
That's not disrespect. That doesn't mean he won't get you 28 points and 12 rebounds and 8 assists. He'll do it. I've seen him do it. I didn't do that. I never did. If I did, I don't remember. So it is what it is. So look, the guy's great, but I do think that he has some flaws in this game. Now, if we want to really just be an asshole about it, Nick Wright had a viral clip, and this is what created this. When LeBron James turned 35, I think was it 35 or 30, whenever he played whatever season it was, Nick Wright has this viral clip where he said, okay, now let's look at the tail of the tape. He's a better rebounder. He's a better scorer. He's a better this. He's a better that. He just ran off all these stats, right? So what I did, what I did was I said, okay, I hear you. Let me go and look at Michael Jordan's career, right? And as I look at it, the man averages one more rebound than Michael Jordan. He's a small forward. Michael Jordan's a shooting guard. These
6'9" and 6'6".
These are key, and he weighs about 70 pounds more. So, but these are key differences, right? Free throw percentage, Michael Jordan, right? They're about Michael. I think he kind of averages less. Mike, let me see how many turnovers did Mike average. Mike averaged 2.3 rebounds over his career. Or what? No, I'm sorry, 2.7. So I don't know. Let me see. Let me look at LeBron. Turnovers.
LeBron should be around 7 or some shit like that.
LeBron's averages more turnovers. So you got to subtract those assists. Because if he's turning the ball over, then he's not as efficient, right? So as an assist, he averages 7 assists. Mike averaged 6 assists. Now, what we don't really pay attention to is the 1989 season where Doug Collins had Michael Jordan playing the point guard. Mike almost averaged a triple-double. He averaged like what I'm looking at. 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 32.5 points.
And that's back when triple doubles, nobody gave a shit about triple doubles back then.
Nobody, but remember when, I don't know how old you are, but do you remember
38.
On ESPN, whenever somebody would get a triple double in the 90s, it made the news. Like it was such a big, it wasn't like some little no-name guy that played for the Detroit Pistons got some triple double. It's nothing now.
It's like Penny Hardaway in like off the Magic Johnson era when it was like a very impactful player. But in the common era, you got guys like Lance Stevenson getting triple doubles. You got and not to pick on him, I love Lonzo, but Lonzo was getting triple doubles.
It's like you looking at these guys and you're saying, okay, what ESPN will have you believe, these guys are just so much better than Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. He didn't have that many. Well, first of all, there are key factors that go into that. First of all, did he even play when they had a 3? I don't even think they had a 3 when Bird first got to the league.
I think 2?
No, because he got there like 1980, 81 or something like that.
I think it just came in, but that's not how they played though. They played mid-range.
So they'll play 1 or 2 shots like that a game. But
that's not
what I'm trying to make is when you really look at these guys' stats, I'm not saying anything but points. Let's look at points. In the playoffs, in the 1990s, the playoffs, these games were like 85 to 75 or 86 to 92.
Yeah.
Right? If you broke 100, that was a big deal, right? So Michael Jordan will get 37 points out of 87 points, and you'll be like, okay, that would be like today getting damn near 50.
Yeah, more possessions, less defense. Yeah,
yes, exactly. So these are just things that you have to take into account. The overwhelming majority of Michael Jordan's baskets were scored 10 feet or further out. The overwhelming majority of LeBron James is like 5, like right around the rim. People don't pay attention to these things. So when you say efficiency, for Nick Wright to say, well, he has a better field goal. And technically, let me look at the field goal percentage. The field goal percentage, if I look at that, and like I said, I could take those 2 years off. I mean, I can leave him in there. The year when he came back, he was hurt. He only played 18 games. If you want to try to be an ass and count that, go right ahead. But if I were to take that out, and then take back the year when he came back from baseball, 94, 95. Let's take that out. So we can get a real good comparison of what happens when you give Michael Jordan a full season, no injury. Who is he really? Who is he, right? Because I wouldn't type, if LeBron comes back like the last 8, 10, 15 games of a season, I wouldn't count that because it's like he got hurt, he sat out.
It's a tough season.
Michael was on restricted minutes. So it's like he wasn't even playing a full 30 minutes a game back then. So you don't count that. So if I were to just look at the field goal percentage without all that, now we almost like 51%. When Mike really got a full. Now, LeBron, he got 1 year where he played, but he played 3/4 of the games. So you got to count that year. And when you look at it now, his field goal percentage is lower when you look at it like that. He has a lower field goal. So it's how you look at it. Now, Mike, I'm not, like you dancing, you making excuses. It's not excuses. If we want to play excuses, then why y'all trying to trade a guy that's about damn near averaging a triple-double? If it's about excuses, why does this guy have probably 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on his team right now and he can't win? If it's about excuses, why is he the 2nd to 3rd slowest player in the NBA right now? If it's not about excuses, why is it he only physically boxes out 2 times a game? The rest of the time, out of let's say he averaged 8 assists or whatever, he's only going to collapse the defense like 1.7 times. So most of his passes are just people going off screens. I'm getting into the real deep advanced analytics for this because this is the shit I'm talking about. I don't like it. I think it's really hurt the game, and a lot of people aren't watching because you got guys from my generation that really went to war, that got battle scars, that played. I can't look at a guy like that and respect him as a guy who's a warrior and listen to these people put this guy over people who were real dogs that really fought. I respect Charles Barkley more than I respect this guy. Charles Barkley, if you give Charles Barkley Dwayne Wade, now hear me out. Prime Charles Barkley, 1993 on. If you remember,
1993 Barkley was tough.
Now look, that was
I was a Rockets fan back then. Okay. 1993 Barkley was tough.
That was the 2nd best player on the planet. Everybody knew Michael Jordan was the man, but this was Charles Barkley's MVP year. This is prime Barkley. Take him and put him on the 2010, 2011 Miami Heat. Are you telling me Charles Barkley going to go in the playoffs averaging 27 points a game and then drop down in the finals and average 14, 15 points like LeBron did in the finals? Oh, y'all forgot? Y'all forgot about that? That blemish in the finals where you went and just had a complete mental breakdown, that would never have happened to Charles Barkley.
All right, so hold on. Okay, so now this is where it gets dicey with LeBron fans. That I'm not gonna lie, man. That's one of the weakest performances I've ever seen from a star player in my life in the finals. Second weakest I've seen was James Harden against the Dallas Mavericks when they took control of the series with him on the bench and J.R. Smith and Dwight Howard had that high-low thing going. That's the second weakest one I've seen with my own 2 eyes with a superstar. So yeah, that LeBron, and now I want to give Suave credit. He going hard for LeBron in the comments, and I'm with that. I'm with you going for your guy. But that 2011, man, was a huge indictment on what LeBron was made of, and I don't care what you want to make the excuse about. Because then 2 years later, the year next they beat KD and Westbrook. I give LeBron all the credit for that. They beat him, and Westbrook is in the way, in my opinion. Next year they beat San Antonio. Controversial series a little bit. I'll give LeBron credit for that. You can say Ray Allen bailed him out. You can say whatever you want to say. I say LeBron put him in position for them to be in that position. No hate. Then next year, when they got their doors blown off, and he tried to say it was too hot in the gym, fuck that. Fuck that. And the reason why it's off-putting to a lot of people is because he does that. When he flames out, it's a goddamn excuse. Like you said, 2017, I basically had a broken arm. That's bullshit. So that's why when Sub's saying he's a coward, now I wouldn't go that far, me personally. Now, Sub, he's his own man. He can say what he want to say. That's off-putting for me. So if we're talking about the best ever to do it, I basically played with a broken hand, and he come in with that bullshit soft cast. I can't do it, dog. I can't do it. And I respect the game too much for you to say you're the best to ever do it, and you declared yourself that after beating. Let me bring it back. Golden State, when Bogut went down, when you provoked Draymond Green, which is a shrewd move, it was smart. You walked over him, and you know how basketball go. Sub, you know how it go. You don't let no nigga walk over you like that.
Man, he tried to sun him like the Irish.
He emasculated him.
Yeah,
you don't let no nigga walk over you like that, dog. Like, come on, man. And Draymond, like you said, you picked the right one. Draymond does not control his emotions well. He's like the new age Dennis Rodman. So when they did NBA 75 and they had him as Dennis Rodman, that was a very good depiction. They are two of the same dudes, right? One from Saginaw, Michigan, one from South Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas. Same dude, different era.
But please don't skip over 2011. I just really did.
Well, no. I'm just setting the boundaries of like what made him say he the best player ever. Like, yeah, you kind of contrived that though, homeboy. So I cannot give you full credit for that.
Beat him at full sprint. You didn't do that.
Huh?
But if you beat that team and you just like screw it, and then let's be honest, at the key moments in that series, it was Kyrie's moment, bro. If you watch the game, he put Klay Thompson on skates a bunch of times. Klay Thompson couldn't check the man.
Can't nobody hold Kyrie Irving.
Can't nobody hold him. I agree. So, but these are the things that the media. That's why Kyrie left. Like, damn, man, y'all gave this whole championship credit to LeBron James, and these young fanboys, they're blind. They don't see it. This man, and I'm looking at 2011. This man averaged in the finals 14.3 points. He went up until that point. He was averaging 28 points a game. This man dropped in half, right? But that counts. That makes him, but he's the GOAT. You can't be the GOAT if you do that. But you know why? You didn't get chances with Mike. Mike didn't give you, he didn't give you no game
7.
You ain't getting no game 7 with Mike. I don't care if you're on the road. Flu game. Mike gonna give you what he got to give you. That's the difference. You talking about perfection. You really struggling. The year that Mike lost it, one of them years he lost was the year he only played 15 games. This is what they're doing. They're going and cherry picking on television with the media. All these games.
I didn't know he played 15 games that year. Damn, I'm tripping. Bro, I need to get my knowledge up.
Bro, go back. What year is it? 80. Michael Jordan, 1985, 86. 18. I'm looking at it. It's 18 games. 18 games. And
semantics.
And he played 17 in 1994, 95.
I didn't know that.
You see Shannon Sharp and all these guys, well, he lost in 95. He lost in like, damn, the man had a broke leg, and then he came back out of shape. Y'all want to count that? Then they want to say, well, the Chicago Bulls, see, I hate to go here for us. I like Scotty, man. I was like Scottie Pippen. Right?
I always like Scottie Pippen.
I was that type of guy. Right now. I was that. I would lock up. I played the other team best.
Yeah, I
love lock y'all best player up. I'm gonna lock him up. I'm athletic. I was a dunker. That was me, right? But truth be told, go back and look at the 99, 93, 94 Bulls. They say, well, they won 55 games without him, so he had some talent. First of all, Tony Kukoc came. He was an all-star that he didn't have. You got Pete Myers, which if we look at Pete Myers averaged 20 points a game. So you brought in two guys.
Look that up. Hold on. Pete Myers. I got to look that up.
Yeah, look at Pete Myers.
Got to do my due diligence there. All right, go ahead.
Pete Myers was balling, and you had that. But what happened when Horace Grant left in 94, 95? The Bulls was struggling.
Orlando got good.
Well, not only that, it wasn't that just Orlando got good. They were struggling to make the playoffs, and Scottie Pippen was on the trading block. See, these are little facts. They were talking about trading Scottie because he was talking slick to Jerry Krause in the media, and they were having. See, these are things that I remember vividly, right?
See, that's a little bit before my era, so I don't remember those.
I'm telling you, this is what was going on.
That's fair.
Scottie Pippen had an all-star game just to show y'all what Michael Jordan was about. Scottie Pippen had like a little celebrity game in Chicago at the Chicago Stadium, right? So Mike was playing baseball, and he talked to Mike earlier, and he was like, yeah, man, I want you to come back, and I want you to play in this all-star game. What Scottie was thinking was, I'm going to get Mike up here and beat up on him because he out of shape just to make myself look good in front of Chicago people, right? Mm-hmm. So Mike comes back, but he don't know Mike been working. Mike came in there, and this is when Mike was playing baseball. Mike came in there and demolished Scottie ass. And Scottie was like, damn, man, you been working out? He's like, yeah, man, I've been doing a little something. You know, it's kind of like when Superman and Superman 2, when he came back, yeah, I've been working out. Like, he came in there and just beat him down. I love Scottie Pippen, but the points I'm trying to make is when you go and try to find 1 or 2 points to diminish somebody's greatness, it only makes me go and cherry pick and find keys. Now, I don't have to cherry pick with LeBron. I can pick when he missed the playoffs. I can pick he stacked his teams. I can pick all these different statistics about LeBron James and his stat padding that nobody wants to really acknowledge.
You definitely stat pass.
The guy is the master of it. He gets a lot of meaningless stats that the next day keeps people off his ass. When he got a game and they losing, he makes sure he do his part. Now, moving forward, he will never have any more excuses to have to make. You know why? He's old now. So from now on, for the next 3-4 years, or however long he tries to play till he catch up with Kareem, and he's trying to get his son drafted so he can play with him. When his son goes and they play together, he's gonna always say, when he go off and hit 30, oh, LeBron's, oh, look at him. Look at how old he is and look what he's doing. He's that great. But when he lose, well, you know, you can't expect that from LeBron. He's old.
It's a double-edged sword. So we all know that. We all know that.
Okay, but y'all had up this year, they was trying to get a man an MVP till he got hurt early in the year. They was talking MVP after like 4 games. This is unheard of. The media, bro. This guy, let me say something. Anthony Davis, let me go back to like the year that they won. I studied this shit, bro. I studied this shit. Go back to the year that they won the finals. It was the bubble year.
2020.
Right? Look at 2020 stats. Look at the Lakers roster. Look at that team. And look at who led in points and rebounds.
AD.
Guess what position AD came in MVP voting? LeBron came second and was complaining. All he did was lead the team in assists. Anthony Davis came in like 6th in MVP voting in 2020.
It's perception. It's pageantry.
That's pageantry. That's what I'm saying. Look, man, if you're gonna get LeBron second, you probably have to just shoot. You need to get LeBron. You're gonna have to get AD the damn MVP because he pretty much put that team in the position for them to even be there for you to consider LeBron at that time. He was the leading scorer, leading rebounder, better field goal percentage. These are just key stats. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
the problem with LeBron James fans, let me say this one thing and I'll be quiet.
Go ahead.
The problem with LeBron James fans, I'm giving you fact after fact after fact after fact after fact. And you know what? I'm a hater. I'm being unrealistic. I think I'm a hater. I just don't like him. Oh, you just hate the man. Come on, man. He bought a school. Come on, man. He doing this with his son's team. Come on. I'm like, all that is great. All that is fine. We're talking basketball. And if you're gonna cherry pick Michael Jordan, and you're gonna say that this guy is somehow wrong, it hurt, Mike lost so. Well, Mike never missed the playoffs. So I mean, just that. I mean, you can find a million reasons why LeBron is not the GOAT. Now, if I say top 10, it still pisses people off. That's how you know we're not being locked.
It's like if you don't call him top 3, it's disrespect. And I was just like, no.
Because I said, I could give Charles Barkley these same opportunities. Barkley would have probably had at least about 6-7 rings by now.
6-7 what championship?
Barkley would. There's no way in hell Barkley would have fumbled that damn 2011 champion. He would not have fumbled that. Not prime Charles.
I never seen a meltdown like that ever. So I'd have to ebb to watch.
There's no way you ever gonna see Barkley average no damn 14 points in the fight. No way. Right? See, the man is ranked higher. Like, you got people that are ranked higher than Charles Barkley who can't lace his shoes. I know that. I saw Barkley. Not because I'm from Alabama. I know what the guy was doing. I saw what he was doing in Philly. I saw what he did in Phoenix, right? But people don't like Charles Barkley today because Draymond doesn't like him, because LeBron don't. They had some words on Twitter. I'm talking about the ball player. And I'm telling you right now, I would put Barkley in my top 10, but people would be like, oh my God, he doesn't have any rings. You see, that's the logic. It's like, well, damn, I mean, do I need to stack his teams? Now, if you want to put LeBron as the greatest of all time, I know why you do it. If I watch TV and I was under 40 years old and I watched TV all day, every day, and you grew up
in your lap,
watching Cold Pizza and you watch.
Shout out to Cold Pizza, man. You took it back.
If you grew up watching these shows and that's all you know, and all you do is look at stats and you look at the stat line at the end of the game, then yeah, I would rank this guy in my top 5. And that's why I said that. I said top 5. Right? But if you really look at just key points in his career where he missed the playoffs, that's a strike. You go all the way to the finals 6-7 years straight. You go to the East, the West. Now you're struggling because you would have ran into those San Antonio teams in the first, second, third round. You would have ran into those Lakers teams. You would have ran into that Dallas team early, and you wouldn't have had that record. That's why he lost like he did.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, LeBron's story is a beautiful narrative. It's a beautiful narrative because it's almost like what they call it plausible deniability. Whereas you really can't indict any of the failures because you're on the East. So you end up in the finals, 10 times, 9 out of 10 in the East. And so the narrative is you got to the highest game, so you get the highest praise, which no problem. I'll go with that. The problem is if you juxtapose it with going through the gauntlet on the West, like you were saying, especially in this era, you wouldn't yield the same results as far as a finals appearance. Secondly, again, with a beautiful narrative, I find it funny that people now this is from a guy who Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. I got LeBron way ahead of Kobe Bryant as far as legacy. If we're talking just legacy, what you can put out on paper, LeBron's way past Kobe. Way past Kobe. Even though eye test wise, I don't put him in Kobe level at all. But I understand you have to have a standard to judge anything. So if we're going to have a standard, LeBron James is way past Kobe Bryant. I got Kobe maybe around 11, 12 in my heart, like around 3. But in reality, I got him around 12. I got LeBron in like 3, maybe 4. 3-4 range. I got LeBron. For a player, I just don't care for like that. I just don't because I understand how contrived the whole experience is with LeBron. And the reason why I say contrived is the same time when you say that, okay, these stats matter and these stats. When there's failure, then it's the sliding scale, what they call it, moving the goalposts. Oh, well, then the teammate didn't do this. Oh, well, when LeBron is out, the team didn't do this. When you don't factor in the fact that when LeBron James, he's pretty much the de facto GM everywhere he goes. I think we all should understand this at this point. And not only are you the de facto GM, you are the de facto point guard as well. So basically meaning people are running your system. So all these parts you bring in, you're damn near handpicking. At worst, you are approving it as a quality control, liaison for your team. So when the shit don't work out, it's funny how it falls back on the real GM. It's funny how it falls back on the head coach when the shit don't work out. Let's look at 2017. When you brought your boy D Wade in, you brought Derrick Rose in, you brought Crowder in, you brought Isaiah Midget Thomas in, you brought in all these guys that's supposed to have given you this competitive advantage.
Kyle Korver was an all-star before he got there.
Kyle Korver. You brought in Rodney Hood, right? And it's funny when it don't work out, all these motherfuckers are bums.
Yep.
Everybody got to go. Everybody tossed to the side. Unprecedentedly, around All-Star break, you gut your whole team out. So I understand that it can fly under the radar as far as a whole season if you just put all your eggs in the stat basket. But if we're looking at the totality of things, that's a lot of manipulation.
Well, the stat has a problem, too, because if you look at the Lakers year when they didn't make the playoffs, Kyle Kuzma wound up averaging about 18, and so did Brandon Ingram. So you had 2 18, 20-point-a-game guys on your team who probably would have been a good team had you built it, but you had this win-now mentality. Now, this brother just said that if we take a deep dive into Jordan's career, he said we want to take a deep dive into Jordan's career, but he can go toe-to-toe with Jordan in failure. First of all, the first 3 years of the man's season career, he didn't even make the playoffs. Okay? Michael Jordan he was third pick, took the team straight to the playoffs. Never missed the playoffs. The first time Michael Jordan missed the playoffs, he was 40 years old playing for the damn Wizards. Okay? Mike had been smoking cigars and chilling for 3 years. That's when Mike finally.
It matters. I'm 38. It matters.
But that's what I'm saying. So when we talk about these things, you talk about failures. First of all, the years that they talking about Mike left, Mike lost. Those are years where LeBron, if you were to go toe-to-toe with LeBron, he wasn't even in the playoffs. So Mike already did more than him just with his first 3 years while leading the league and scoring.
Hold that thought. I saw 2 comments I want to attack this. Hold that thought. I know you about to cook. So LeBron led the league in assists, not only dominated in 2020. Now I'll give his props. LeBron James deferred to AD. That's what he did. He deferred to AD. He went through AD because he knew that was the burgeoning all-star and that was the burgeoning best player. So he's going to lead in assists. He deferred to him real tough, which was very rare for LeBron. So I give him a lot of credit for that. However, 2020, see, this is the funny shit.
He thinks LeBron dominated the finals. The man was stat padding in games.
Yeah. So I'm about to get to
That's what I'm talking about.
Hold on. But this is the funny shit that LeBron does, though. So remember, this was the social justice time with all the things going on, the George Floyd, and then Philando Castile, and then the brother who got killed in Milwaukee. I forget the name. If you remember, LeBron James is supposed to be this head of social justice and what have you, allegedly. And then the Bucks got, in their feelings because their situation happened in Milwaukee, and they were ready to stop. Kyrie Irving was ready to stop. Like the undercurrent was basketball takes a backseat to social activism. And it's funny during this time, you know who was ready to still go? Because he knew that window was right there. Your boy LeBron Ramon James was ready to go. On back his jersey. No message on back his jersey. This is supposed to be your Muhammad Ali, right? LeBron is a shrewd dude. He knew that was the year. So he was like, yeah, all this protesting, but yeah, we still gonna hoop though, right? No, because if we're being honest, the mental capacity of a lot of guys was not right. It's not right. Again, Milwaukee set a playoff game out, right?
Let's look at the Clippers. They said the Clippers were going to team they were going to struggle with that year.
What happened? All over the place.
He got caught up at Magic City eating some
shit's all over the place.
Yeah, what's his name? Lou Williams at Magic City on Monday getting some wings. They made a big deal about it. They suspended him. The whole chemistry was thrown off. So we'll give him that. Okay, he got 4 championships. I'm not even going to argue that. Okay?
I'm not me neither. But if we haven't nuance,
but for you to say he dominated the finals when the man was like in the finals in the fourth quarter of the game 6, it was up in the air if he was even going to get the damn finals MVP. And he went out there in scrub hour and just played with a bunch of scrubs. They were up by 20. Anthony Davis put the game away. He really supposed to win the damn finals MVP. And he went out there to get his stats on purpose.
Because he knows.
In front of everybody. Nobody says anything. The problem I have, if you're going to defend LeBron, if I was going to defend LeBron, the only thing I would give him is longevity. I would say longevity. I would talk about his size and strength. I think he's on steroids. I don't like LeBron, as you probably can tell, right? So he's probably on steroids. But if it was a guy I wanted to party with, who would I rather go hang out with and get a beer? LeBron James, right?
You're a cool dude.
Yeah, he seems like
awesome. You're awesome human, man.
But if I'm trying to win, if I got one game for the marbles, everybody and their mama gonna choose Michael Jordan. And when I watch television and I see ESPN, you give me LeBron James, I'm like, you out your damn mind. This man will probably come out there and fill up a stat sheet and your ass will get blown out by 20. And he'll be out there like he's the second to third. Like this guy, guys, you got to understand, when Mike retired in 1998, another little interesting tidbit, Mike was first team all defense in 1938 at 35 years old.
That's impressive.
I'm just letting you know that.
He's playing both sides of the ball still.
That's what I'm saying. This man stopped playing defense a decade ago. Like
Let me stop saying that. Yeah, it's been about a decade. You remember Kyle Kuzma throwing him in position. I want to say this too. In the finals, that's one, like from an odd standpoint, one of the most lopsided finals like in 30 years. Like, so we got to understand, with Miami being in the finals, from the number standpoint, odd standpoint, one of the most lopsided finals that we've ever seen in our lifetime. So we got to be honest about what Jimmy Butler was saying
to the man. Jimmy Butler talking to the man like a stepchild. Or Jimmy Butler got his ass a couple of times in those finals. He let Jimmy Butler and a bunch of like second tier players, because the whole damn team, Hero was hurt, Adebayo was hurt. Yeah. All their pieces were gone. It was just Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler. See, and let me go ahead and go here for a second. LeBron James. This is why I can't call him the GOAT. LeBron James has had a career of. It's certain guys in the NBA that just can make him struggle. Like, and he'll have a game where it's nothing if he go against. If somebody told me they played the Clippers in the playoffs this year, and LeBron averaged 16 points, I would not be surprised because of Kawhi check him, and Kawhi gives him problems. Kawhi is a great defensive player, bro. And so
For sure.
I'm not trying to drag the man for that. I'm not dragging him because the man probably would have gave most people trouble. But the point I'm trying to make is these are just things that people leave out to beat for the narrative of now. It's all about now. Like right now, I love Steph Curry. He's changed the game. It's undeniable. I know people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but this is just what I've seen with Steph Curry. If you check Steph Curry physical and really get in his chest, he's not going to get off like that. If you get in his chest and get physical, and you're a ball player, you know damn well I'm talking about that lockdown, chest to chest, physical defense, he usually struggles. But if I watch ESPN, they'll say, well, he can go into any era and he would just, and I'm like, look, this shot is ridiculous. I'm not going to lie. His shot, I'm not saying he would average 5. I mean, he would still get a lot of points. But in key moments, I think in like clutch moments, I think he can be shut down. And we've seen that in the finals. Is why he's never won a finals MVP. Because when he goes against Chris Paul, he struggles. We saw that the other day. Even when they beat him, he only had like 20-some odd points. Chris Paul's got that old school physical, I'm gonna body you mentality. And so they don't play defense like that no more. And I love him. He's probably my favorite player in the NBA right now. But if I was to take that guy and put him in a situation in a clutch moment in the 90s where they can get physical and hand check, he's probably gonna do half of what he's doing now. I can give him, I say he averaged about 20 points. I give him that, which is pretty damn good because they probably wasn't doing about 75, 80 points a game. So that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he would have came out. That's why when he would hit 7 threes in a game, nobody did it because nobody shot that much. And it was a lot more physical. And I'm not saying it's better or worse. I just don't think that you could tell me that a guy that can't handle physical contact is going to dominate in any era, which is what you see on ESPN. You see that on Fox Sports. You see these people lying to these kids, and they don't know because they're not aware. And most people don't know that they only had 80 points in the game, 75. So these people think, oh, they was hitting 140 points in the game. And I'm thinking, and then when you try to watch ESPN and say, well, they're more skilled, what they're saying is those players are so much better than they were then. I'm like, okay, so you're trying to tell me that the Atlanta Hawks are better, if they go against the damn Orlando Magic. You're telling me that those two teams are so much more talented because they scored 150 points apiece, 146 to 148 or something. They're just that much more talented? Or is it just, which is the most logical thing? Is it that they're that much talented? Or is it they're shooting a lot of threes? Because I just went to a game against the Charlotte Hornets in Atlanta the other day, about a couple weeks ago. It was boring. I got up and left in the beginning of the
I think you told me that when I met you.
Yeah, it was like I got up because they were just jacking. I'm like, man, move the ball around, get some offense going. Somebody has shown me a middle game. Like, it's not all about pulling up from half court. They were all, I'm talking about they were all pulling 6-7 feet away from the 3-point line. Pulling up. Center, forward, small forward, all of them. Just shooting. And I'm just like, this is boring. This is extremely boring. I want to see some real execution. I want to see something. It's more exciting for me to see people get more physical, check each other. Now, look, I'm not knocking this game the way it is now. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
I'm knocking it.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good brand of basketball.
It is what it is, though.
If a kid touches a basketball, are you going to tell him to go out there and not play defense? Hell no. When a kid plays basketball, first thing you're going to do is say, hey, go out there, you lock up on defense, don't let your man score. You get to the NBA, hey, bag up. And we all got Mike D'Antoni to thank for this. He's the guy that ushered in this era of not playing defense with the Phoenix Suns offense. But you notice that Phoenix offense never won anything. It was a great offense until people got physical with them in the playoffs, and they always lost. Remember that? You there? I guess he took a break. But like I said, man, I really like I like LeBron James as far as his career. I think he's had a great career, done a lot of great things in his time. But if I was just trying to, tell the truth about what I think about him, I don't think he's the greatest of all time. And if you want to argue any other position, fine. I don't even think he's second. He's not second. He can't be. So, but I'm not going to argue about You know, Michael Jordan's my number one, and then from there, I'm not even gonna get into it because to me, it's an opinion thing. And from there, but some people even put Kareem up there, which I will respect. I respect if you put Kareem as the GOAT. Like we've skipped over a lot of great players and disrespected what they accomplished. Like Wilt Chamberlain never gets talked about. Like we just ignore him. But if we're gonna go just stats, I mean, we just want to because we're doing it for LeBron. We're just gonna go and look at stats. Then we got to look at Wilt and what Wilt accomplished, and we got to take that into account. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
I missed that last part. I had to go use the restroom.
Based off probability situation.
I want you to address because you and Swab got a good little sub argument going. Go ahead and address that.
So what is he talking about? So what is probability? I'm going off exactly what the man did in the 2011 finals. I'm going off exactly what he did with his free agency every year for the last 12, 13 years. He's been trading his team at the deadline because that's what he does. I'm going off him boxing out.
Hey, I'm gonna drop the link. Because I see FYF in here.
Well, I'm going off of him.
I want y'all to come up here and challenge sub.
I don't have no problem. I talk to people. I don't like arguing with LeBron fanboys. People love LeBron, especially black men.
Enough.
A lot of black men love LeBron, and they get emotional they get emotional. It's almost like you're talking about their mama or their girlfriend. I don't like talking about it because I don't. As I mentioned it on my channel. I'll say it. I'll talk to a couple of people, but I don't want to. I really don't because I'm not going to change you. I have a saying on my channel: a man convinced against his own opinion is of the same opinion still. This brother thinks LeBron is the greatest of all time. I don't want to talk to you. I don't think you know basketball. You don't know basketball.
Let's see.
So I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk, but let him go. Let him go ahead.
So FYF, I do want to say from a de facto standpoint, he definitely has signed off on guys to be traded. I think we all can understand the 2017 year in particular, with 2018, when half the team got traded at the All-Star break. I think we all can understand LeBron signed off on that because you're not trading half the team without LeBron's consent. So yes, FYF, he gonna come with it. So Lamont, welcome to the stream, bro.
This is funny because I got MJ as the GOAT. That's the funny thing about it.
All right, go for it.
People think just because people think I hear a lot of these debates and people say, "Oh, because you say this positive about LeBron or you make this case for LeBron, you have to be a fanboy." I'm just a realist. I got MJ as the GOAT not because he's 6-0. There's better reasons, there's better arguments to put certain people at the top of your list and just run into championships, right? And when we look at Wilt, I'm one of the people that say Wilt doesn't get enough credit. I'm one of the people that say the 90s era and the people that were labeling Jordan as the GOAT disrespected Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and those guys because they labeled Jordan as the GOAT before he even retired.
And I did mention that. 93.
So that in and of itself,
I've been up here for about an hour and some change.
I just chimed in, so I really haven't heard what you had to say.
Okay, so that was saying, so I've made 1,000 points, and you just came and called.
But I'm not listening. I'm just going off the few comments that I heard.
Exactly.
And some of the comments that I hear about LeBron are some of the sentiments that you give, which are just simply false. Yes, every single star in the league, every single star, whether it's Devin Booker, whether it's Chris Paul, whether it's KD, whether it's all these stars, ownership and GMs talk with them about trades, and they have to give the thumbs up if it's a major trade. It's not just LeBron. That's just how this era works. In the 90s, we didn't see it work like that. In the 90s, GMs just ran over players, gave them whatever contract, bad contracts, and they just had to live with whatever happened. GMs didn't have to do their jobs. They didn't have to consult with players. So then this is a different era where players have slightly more power. You can't just make these moves without consulting with your stars. So let's not use that to knock LeBron. This is something that every single team does with all of their stars. So let's not label LeBron like he's the only one that gets players moved. That's false narrative.
Hold on, let's make that point.
Okay, I'm going to let y'all rock real quick.
Let's examine that point for a second. So LeBron James, every year, you can just about predict, okay, at the All-Star break, I can set my watch, okay? At the All-Star break, he's going to gut his team if they don't do this. I don't see that on any other team. I have not seen that with any other player but LeBron James. Now, if you're saying what you just said, obviously, of course, they're going to check out on it. All right, whatever. I'll give you that. But but to sit and act as though there's not any difference. It's the same.
Outside of one season.
Let me get it out.
What years has he gutted his team? That don't happen.
Brother, he gutted.
That's a lie.
Brother, that's not you telling me.
Okay, tell me all the years where he gutted his team.
The Cleveland Cavaliers team where he traded the whole team.
That's 1 year. That's 1 year. Outside of that one single year, what year did he?
The year where they hold on, let me talk. The year
that's a lie.
Brother, can I talk? Okay, so the year that they had the two players, they had Kyle Kuzma. That's another year, right? Every year he has to gut his team, and for us to sit here and act like this man doesn't, that's why I don't want to talk about it. That's why I said what I said, because although you say it, it's almost like sometimes people say they want to be fair, but some shit they just deny, and I'm like, okay, well, we just gonna disagree, and I just think it's futile to talk to you about it, because I don't think I'm gonna change your opinion, and you sure as hell not gonna change mine. There's no way in hell you're going to change my mind and tell me that every year LeBron James has a team is not going to be pressure from the media to campaign to get his team traded. The media every year, if his team is not number one in the East or the West, in fact, they can be number one. If they have a key loss against a team that they think they're going to face in the playoffs, the media starts campaigning.
Can I rebuttal? Is there any time I can come in and rebuttal?
Go ahead, bro.
I'm just saying, you brought up 2 years out of 19 where major trades have been made. And the 1 year you're talking about with Kuzma, the 1 year. So let's start with the year with Kuzma. Well, any GM in his right mind at that point in time was going to give up everything for Anthony Davis. That's not a secret. Anthony Davis said he wanted to come to LA. As a GM, it's your responsibility to make that happen. That's just being a smart GM. This the other year in Cleveland. So this is the other year you referred to. This is the 2 out of 19 years. Yes, it wasn't working. Things weren't. Hold on. Let me finish. Just like I allowed you to just ramble on. The other year you were talking about, it was obvious to anybody with a basketball brain that collection of players with D Wade, it just wasn't working, and there were too many locker room issues. So you just brought up 2 out of 19 years and used that to say that LeBron every single year trades his team, when that's a lie. Okay. When first of all, as a player, LeBron has never traded a player. It's the GM's responsibility to make trades and bolster rosters and make these teams better. And I have to credit those moves to the GM. So not LeBron. LeBron gets consulted, but LeBron does not. Let me finish what I'm saying. I know you want to talk, but I'm just talking facts. It's LeBron's job to play. LeBron does not. LeBron does. I'm just responding. I'm just responding to this sentiment.
Go ahead.
And I'm trying. But you said I'm emotional, but you're trying to talk over me. So let me say, you brought up 2 years out of 19. Where you said you said there you go cutting out. There you go cutting me.
You lying, no, brother.
There he go cutting me off again.
You lying.
There you go. So this is what he calls me emotional, but he's cut me off before I can get my sentence off. So what I'm saying is he refers to 2 years out of 19. Where I know. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna mute my mic as soon as I'm done. I'm gonna mute my mic as soon as I'm done. All I'm saying is he referred to 2 years.
Go ahead, sir.
No, hoop jargon. He refers to 2 years out of 19 and says every single. These are the fake narratives that people push about LeBron, saying he trades his whole team when as a player he's made 0 trades. GMs in his league make trades, coaches make trades, but LeBron as a player can only give those guys recommendations. And you have to listen to a player like LeBron because he's been to the finals 10 times. So a guy, a player that almost over half his career has been in the NBA Finals, would be wise as a GM to consult with him about the team that can get to the finals. So that's just being a smart GM to consult with your best player. So let's stop the sentiment. So this is one of the fake sentiments people like to throw on LeBron, that he trades players when he's traded absolutely no player in his career, none at all. And they just like to throw that on as a fake negative narrative just to throw some shade at him because they don't want to put him as the GOAT, or they don't want to give him a case for the GOAT conversation.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, Sub.
What I was saying, I was trying to talk to hoop jargon, really. But the thing, first
of
all,
how you got it, man.
But let me say
this. Like this is a good debate because FYF, he does this all day, every day. And I respect your opinion, Sub.
And that's cool.
And so I want y'all to both rock out. Go ahead, bro.
And that's cool. I have no problem with that. But the thing is, I don't get on these panel discussions. I don't like getting on them because you're not going to change my opinion. He's not changing mine. To say 2 out of 19 is really disingenuous because, of course, he didn't come in as a damn rookie and trade his team, man. Like, so you count 4 or 5 years where he was a rookie. Then you count other years up until the Miami year, right? He wasn't going to run Pat Riley. So you're only talking about the Cleveland years and the Laker years. Those are the only years. And what I'm saying is, and what I said at the very beginning of this, let me go back to the very beginning. This is what I mean when this is why people say this. LeBron James, ingenious, I think it was ingenious, when he got to the NBA, he made a decision that was smart. He infiltrated the media. Now, it is well documented by other people that have been fired that are no longer at ESPN that LeBron James controls the media. He wants to control the narrative. This is what Stephen A. and a lot of people have verified, right? So when you go to the media and you see the media campaigning every year, literally within this guy, since he's been at the Lakers, and we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 years, this is the 4th season, he has campaigned for Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, he got Anthony Davis, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, right? The only one he didn't campaign for was, what's his face? Klay Thompson. I mean, the guy has campaigned for everybody in the league to be on his team, right? And so my thing is, as an athlete myself, as a ball player myself, I don't respect that, right? And so what I said was earlier before you got here, brother, was that he got the media to lobby and campaign for him. That is one of the biggest it's like I can control things. Now, we and this is established as a fact by people that have worked in the media. So I'm not going to deny the people that work there. It is a fact that he controls the media. If he wants something done, he's very smart. He's very cunning. He'll put something on Twitter. He'll make a comment, or someone in the media will make an argument to campaign and lobby for him to get what it is to get his way. Now, every year, like right now, right? Let's say they don't trade the team. They're trying to trade Russell Westbrook. If they don't trade him, that doesn't mean that that machine that I just described is not at play right now trying to get him traded. They're talking about it. They're putting it out there. Just like they got Urban Meyer fired, right? They talked about Urban Meyer every day. They wanted him fired. He got fired, right? So what I'm saying is with LeBron James, he's not a GM, so that's not a valid argument. Of course, he's not signing off.
De facto GM. De facto.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
we all
so what I'm saying is,
right.
no, I've never said he signed off on somebody getting traded himself. What I'm saying, he signed off with his GM, but what I'm saying is he never did it physically himself. The point I'm trying to make is the media, since he's been in Cleveland and after that, and over these last, I'd say maybe 7-8 years, it has been controlled by him through the media. That's it. And so that's something that some people are going to see, some people don't. But according to people that are in the media, Jason Whitlock and other people that are in there that are outside, once they get out of ESPN, they tell the truth. What's his face?
That's kind of true, though.
What's his name?
Several. The old guy.
The guy from Boston. Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce said
before
it.
That, though, many of them.
I got to talk about LeBron all the why.
Yeah.
If it's really just making fair things because he controls the NBA, he controls the Lakers, he controls it through the media. He's bought it. I think he got people on payroll, to be honest with you. That light-skinned guy that played in the NBA, I forget his name. He's a no-name guy. I'm not talking about like Richard Jeffries or the other guy. But there's another gentleman that played.
Oh, you're talking about freaking the center guy. He played for the Cavs. He's a bum. He played for UCLA.
Yeah, that
light-skinned dude.
Yeah,
Ethiopian guy.
That guy says some of the crazy. I'm like, man, this dude got to be getting paid. And
so
he's actually. That's when I say what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's been exposed for like.
Am I saying that he doesn't? He doesn't successfully do it every year. But if the team has a situation in the early, let's say they first in the East or the West, and they beat a contender, they won't be talking like that. But if they struggle with a contender and lose a couple of key games, they lose 3 games in a row, you'll see the narrative 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. LeBron James. He needs
Ryan Hollins.
And that's them. They'll keep LeBron James needs it. LeBron. And so what happens, the player will mess around and get traded. If he doesn't, he's on the team. So, of course, he wasn't successful every year, but that machine is at work. And that machine is how he does it because you're right, brother. It's not his physical job to actually make the trade. So when I say that and when people say that, I'm at the game in Atlanta 2 years ago, and the whole Atlanta crowd is chanting to the Lakers team, LeBron's going to trade you. LeBron's going to trade you. We right there clapping and laughing behind the bench, right? What are they saying? Are they all just ignorant? No, what they're talking about is they're talking about this machine. They're talking about, of course, Rob Pelinka's going to make the trade. But you got Clutch Sports running the whole damn, like they're deterring players from the Clippers at LeBron's behest because LeBron doesn't want the Clippers to become a contender. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I'm going to give you an example just here in Phoenix. So, writer, CBS online, CBS Sports Online named Ron Miller. Every story that talks about the internal workings of the Phoenix Suns with regards to players, he will personally call Devin Booker up and get his okay to push the story. My example with that is that all of these star players in every city. Now, again, the bigger you are, the more people in the media are going to want to cater to you. But just on a smaller level here in Phoenix, there are people in the media that are willing to cater to Devin Booker and push certain stories or not push certain stories just to keep him happy. This is something that happens. That's a real life example with real names. This is something that happens with all of the best players in every city. If you're the best player, you're going to have some control either over the local media. And if you have a national name like LeBron, KD, right? If you have one of those types of names, you're going to have more power with the national media. That's just how this game goes. That's just part of the game. If you're at the top, you can control more things, just like Jordan. Jordan had a lot of Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad Rashad only pushed all positive news about Jordan. There's a reason for that. You never saw Ahmad Rashad put out anything controversial about Jordan. There's a reason for that. There's a lot of people who did the same thing for Magic Bird, and that's just the way it goes. If you at the top, you control everything. Now, if you don't want to accept that, that's just the business of basketball. I don't let that filter what I see on the court with what these players do on the court. So again, trading players and all of this stuff about trading players and these fake narratives. Yes, when fans chant that, they are 1,000% wrong because players don't trade players. GMs make trades, coaches make trades, front offices make trades. And what we need to start doing is when those trades don't work, instead of blaming players like LeBron, you need to blame these front offices for not having the foresight to put these things together properly. This is why GMs get fired. This is why coaches get fired. This is why player development people get fired because they make the wrong moves there. So let's not blame LeBron for everything, right? Just because it either doesn't work on the court and teams have to make trades. That's just irrelevant. What we're talking, when we start going down that lane, what we're doing is we're getting away from talking about basketball and we're crying about the inner workings of how the game actually, this is a new era. Players have more control. Players are going to have more say-so. It just is what it is. We got to stop crying about that and let's get to talking about basketball and what we see on the court, because that's not something that's going to change. Players are only going to get more control as media contracts get bigger, as social media gets bigger. That's the only thing that's going to happen is players are going to get more control going into the future. So what you see with LeBron is just a small snippet of what's going to start happening in the future. This is one of the reasons why the 90s had so many bad teams at the bottom of the league, and those teams never got better because nobody put those GMs' foot to the fire for being trash GMs. They were just okay with being mediocre for a long time. So now this is why you see GMs getting fired, GMs getting called out, because now they have to start doing their job. They can't just walk around and be mediocre because this era is starting to apply pressure the right way. So with LeBron James,
let me say this before you go, so I don't let you finish, Lamont. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, this conversation I thought was about his legacy. And when we talk, there's no other player, when we talk about their legacy, we get to crying about so many off the court things that are so irrelevant with regards to what we see on the floor. With LeBron, it's going to be hard for you to cry about what you see on the floor because he's a great player on the court. Now, the thing that I heard that made me want to come in here was the comment about Wilt Chamberlain's stats. And I'm assuming he says people give LeBron credit for his stats, but they don't give Wilt credit for his stats. I make that argument all the time on my channel. How did Wilt and Bill Russell get overlooked? So statistically, they were great. How does Bill Russell get overlooked? He has 11 chips. Jordan only has 6, right? Because if you're going to use the 6-0 narrative to make Jordan the GOAT, how come Bill Russell isn't the GOAT? Because he has 11.
Okay,
right? If you're gonna go statistically,
if you're gonna go statistically, you can stop saying that.
I'm saying if you're gonna go statistically, because like I said, I was very quiet when you was talking, my guy. I didn't say a word.
Go land the plane, Lamont. Go ahead.
I'm saying if you're gonna go statistically, Wilt Chamberlain, 50 points averaging 50 points for an entire season. That's something Jordan never did. So what I'm saying is Jordan usurped these guys before he even got to the 6 championships. He got to 3 championships and they labeled him to GOAT. So again, that was something that the media did. That is something that the media did for Jordan. The media pushed Jordan and made him the GOAT. So let's not get mad when today's media, who obviously has a financial, right, for them it's financially driven to push LeBron because he's the money maker. Let's not get mad when you see them and their figureheads of the media pushing him as the GOAT, because they do that because it drives revenue to the league. That's all.
Okay, so I would say this before you go, Sub. The natural pushback is, now that we know that, which I agree with you, Lamont. I got Jordan as pretty much the GOAT. Him or Kareem, I'm good either way. I'll probably ebb towards Kareem, but I'm not going to argue Kareem or Jordan. I think now that we're in the information age, we can kind of usurp that sentiment that when the national media push you so hard, is probably agenda driven. So I'm with you. Like, I actually made a video about this when I was watching the freaking Last Dance. I made a reaction video, and I pointed out how that was capped, that they put Jordan as the best after his first 3 championships. I thought that was bullshit. And I respect Jordan to the highest order. Hell, I got on my damn shirt right now. You feel me? So with that being said, I think that's a little reckless what you're saying, Lamont, about saying that LeBron's not trading these people, because he is the de facto GM and he has unprecedented cachet that other guys did not have. Now, I respect the fact you're saying that he's not the one pulling the trigger. Fair enough. But I think the same latitude we give him of having, player movement, clemency, and having this new precedent of these short-term contracts that get you a bigger one later, he's changed the game up, throwing his muscle around, getting that big trade, getting Lonzo and Ingram and Josh Hart and somebody else I can't think of over there to New Orleans to get AD over. He used his cachet to maneuver that move. He used his cachet in 2017 to get his alleged best friend shipped the fuck out of Cleveland. So we got to take the good with the bad with his cachet. We got to understand that we're going to basically give him the credit for the good. We got to understand, again, him being a de facto GM, we got to give him scrutiny as well. I will yield the floor to you, Sub-Zero.
Let me say one thing. Just one thing with LeBron.
Hold on, brother. Go ahead.
Hold on, so I want you to go all the way. So go quick if you're gonna go quick, Lamont.
No, I'm gonna be real quick. I'm saying you with the power that LeBron has, I can give you. See, this is one thing that opened my eyes, because I used to think that way, but the one move that opened my eyes that really limited, that really showed me LeBron's power within the player movement is very limited, is when, before Carmelo signed with Portland, LeBron James went to the Lakers and said, I want Melo. Can you guys sign Melo? To a minimum deal at that. Not very much. He's not asking for very much. The Lakers told LeBron, no, we don't need him on this roster. When I saw that happen, I said, it's starting to look to me that it's probably a myth about all this power that he has. He couldn't even get Carmelo Anthony signed to the Lakers when they had multiple roster spots open to a minimum contract on that team. And they actually could have used him. So what I'm saying is, so when we say that, let's look at all of the examples, not just the examples when players get traded away from the team, but let's look at when LeBron actually asked for certain players, like when LeBron asked Cleveland to trade J.J. Hickson and bring in Amari Stoudemire, and Cavs said no. Or when he asked the Lakers to sign Melo, and the Lakers told him no the first time around. So there have been instances where he doesn't have all this power that we say he does, because even before Miami and after Miami, we have clear examples of organizations, not named Miami, because he said Pat Riley had the hammer and wasn't going to allow. Outside of Miami, we have clear examples of teams telling LeBron James, no, we're not going to go that route. So again, does he have as much power as we say? I don't know. but there are examples reported where he doesn't have as much power as we believe he does.
Okay,
All
so
right.
that's
Okay,
what I was
go ahead,
saying.
sir.
That's what I was saying. It's useless because I don't think that if you're going to believe a story released by the press that he was told no and that was it by his best friend, because if you remember during that time when they were saying that, they were saying, why doesn't LeBron get his man's a spot? Why they were saying that. There were certain people that were calling him out, like, man, why don't you get? I think now one of the YouTubers that really is influential is Ticket TV. People were, man, why he ain't got Melo a spot? Why he ain't got Melo? So that
It's the
came
wrong
out.
dude to bring that up around.
That is the least credible dude on
Oh, hold
YouTube.
on. I'm not a
Hey,
fan. I'm not
so
saying I'm a fan
some
of his.
backstory. Him and Tiki used to run hard. So
Oh, okay. I ain't know. Well, hey, well, shit, we might be all right then, FYF. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, Ticket TV was saying there was a lot of different people saying that. So a story gets released and the story died down. Nobody said anything. I don't give that credence. I don't know if it's true or not. But as far as to me, man, and I got class in a minute. I got to teach class. But let me say this: when it's all said and done, bro, I do believe that the media's people within the media have verified control of LeBron James in clutch sports in the NBA, in within every organization outside of his earlier years when he was 20 some odd years old, or when he was at Miami with Pat. So as far as the Amari Stoudemire thing, that's a moot point because he wasn't who he became. And I think that's actually probably about half the reason he left, because that guy, I agree with you, that he probably did tell him no back then. And he left, right? So I don't have no problem with that. But as far as after Cleveland, if he doesn't trade, if they're losing a couple of games, there will be a media narrative to get rid of him. Now, do I think that LeBron James's cachet is just that because he's just the man? Well, I would take that narrative if the people in the media aren't saying the same thing, that he's controlling the media, he's getting into the media and putting his plants there to change how people think. That's what they've said. I don't have to use my narrative. But one thing, when you said this is about his legacy, right? Before you got here, brother, I went through all types of stats. I'm up here on Basketball Reference. I'm going through stats. I have spreadsheets. I went through numbers. I went through the advanced analytics. I talked about how 65% of his shots have come from within 8 feet or closer to the rim. I talked about how much he boxes out a game, how much he collapses the defense as an actual statistic, not just rebounds and not just assists, but the advanced. I went into all that. And so when I was talking about the legacy, I was talking about all that. I was talking about the 2011 finals where he went from averaging like 28, 29 down to 14. I talked about that. Talked about all that, right? I talked about the first 3-4 years where he didn't make the playoffs. This is legacy stuff. This is not me but the narrative piece is why I don't like him as a player. But I still said at the beginning of the video, he could be anybody. I could see somebody putting him in a top 5 to top 10 category, which is shit. That's one of the 5 to 10 best players to ever touch a basketball. When it comes to that, I think that's great. I don't even think there should be an argument. We're talking about a guy who could arguably be one of the 5 best to ever touch a rock. We don't have to debate. The guy's great. I never said he wasn't great. But what I don't like is certain things that I think he does that okay, this is the thing. As the legacy of what he done on court, part of what his legacy is what people feel. Just like we talk about Michael Jordan and how people felt like Michael Jordan did this. As far as will he had a season like that, Michael Jordan's career is the highest as far as career average. So we can go, that's what I'm saying. We can always make cases for all types of people. Michael Jordan has the highest ever career average, right? But these are the things that I don't want to get into the weeds about. I think if you're going to talk about the opinion of people, you got to take the media into account, and controlling the media and using clutch sports and controlling trying to control where players go and making efforts where the guy from the Nerlens Noel was like, hey man, this guy stopped me from going to Clippers because he was worried about. I took that as credible. Look, man, I gotta go. I enjoyed it, bro. I got class, man. Hey, Hoop, hit me up, man. We can do this again. FYF, I check your channel out. I apologize. I cut you off a couple of times, brother.
Nah, you good. You good.
Yeah, his name. I ain't got nothing to say about Ticket. I'm not going to Ticket. Like I say, Ticket I
I'm
like
go Mike up here, man. Go Mike up.
Ticket makes good content, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I disagree with it. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes it's a bit disrespectful. Like Westbrook, for example, this year, he really didn't give Westbrook a chance. I felt like 8 games in, he was cussing Westbrook out. And I'm just like, give him a chance. The man got on the team. They're older. They got a gel. They got chemistry. They're starting to get some chemistry with the teams they're supposed to beat, which is what they said. They're starting to beat the teams they were supposed to beat. What are they? 16 and 13 now. So give them a
16,
chance.
14, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Something like, okay, they winning when they supposed to. Those are the games they're supposed to win. Westbrook cut down on the turnovers, and they're still dragging him and talking about the man.
I don't know, Sub. See, Sub, you my guy, but I can't meet you there, dog.
I don't think. Listen, I don't think they're going to win.
Lamont, no,
I'm not saying they're going to win.
I said this on Inception.
Westbrook. I'm not saying they're going to win. What I'm saying is the stuff they're saying about Westbrook is unfair. I'm not saying that the team is going to work. I think Westbrook's not a smart player, but he did cut his turnovers, and nobody said nothing. They were quiet. Nobody said. They were like
that is true.
They went over to Anthony Davis after they talked about. As soon as Westbrook has one bad game, they back on Westbrook.
Yeah, that's true.
It's unfair. It's like Kevin Durant said, it's a toxic environment wherever he goes because of his media fanboys. But anyway, guys, I got to go. Y'all have a good
Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, Sub-Zero, man. Y'all sub that man channel, man. But that's what I like about this. Like, it's supposed to be like this. If you're talking about some real stuff, you know what I'm saying? And nobody cuss nobody out. Nobody calling you stuff your mom ain't name you. And I like, even though Lamont, you be coming in like a wrecking ball everywhere you come, but that's good, though. You know how you roll. And that's good, though. I think people need pushback because if you know basketball like that, you got to be able to back up what you're saying. Even if you feel passionate about it, somebody gonna challenge you on it. You got to be able to stand firm on your square, as they say, no matter what. So I do appreciate that about you. And,
I appreciate it. It was a good conversation. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. I liked it, man.
Yeah, and that's why I bring in cats who hooped. So because it makes for better conversation, in my opinion. I know it doesn't make for like all the numbers all the time, but I like cats like you who hooped, cats like Sub who hooped. He played for the legendary Ben Jobe. So he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, man. He played Tuskegee College, man. So after he left Southern, I think man. So he know what he's talking about.
Yeah, so that's what's up.
Yeah, man. You got any closing thoughts? I'm over here watching clothes and shit.
Yeah, I'm about to I got to get to doing some stuff myself. But my thing is, I tell people when you talk this GOAT conversation, you got to be careful. You got to be careful by saying, like, obviously it's fine to have your personal preferences to GOAT, but you have to be careful jumping on other people for labeling someone else as their GOAT, because it's a lot of flawed criteria that's used. I think it was flawed criteria used to make Jordan a GOAT. And if you use that same criteria, let's say the criteria that made Jordan a GOAT, if you use that same criteria and you apply it to Bill Russell, it makes Bill Russell greater than Jordan. And so you have to be careful, because if you just make some criteria up just to put Jordan over LeBron, that same criteria don't hold water when you use it with Wilt and let's say guys like Bill Russell, because they got more chips. Wilt has the statistical accomplishments that won't be touched. And so you got to be careful by creating this criteria and saying this is what it takes to be the GOAT, because that's going to start hurting Jordan in the long run when people start having these debates, and it's going to make you look crazy. But no, it was a good conversation, man. I had no problem with it, but I can't get mad at nobody that pushes back against, guys from that older era of basketball. They don't like to tolerate this media stuff. I mean, it's a new age, but I've just come to accept it and just say this is just how it is now, and players are just taking advantage of it, and that's all I feel like they're doing.
No, I'm with that, and that's just reality. A lot of new things come with new eras, new clemency, as it were, new latitude. And I think this stuff need to be said, because a lot of people, the average conversation with GOAT conversation, this don't come up. So because it just turns to like basically a stat war. And if we're being honest, if we're comparing eras, you can't just do empty stats, dog. It just doesn't work that way because there are a lot of factors. And we talked about earlier before you got on, Larry Bird being one of the quote unquote greatest shooters. If you look at his percentages, it doesn't agree with that, right?
Yeah.
But when you factor in nuance that he didn't grow up shooting threes. So when threes were implemented, that was a new shot. So you got to factor in his percentages as him ingratiating that into his game, but still having a pure form. Like, so you understand that if he played it his whole life, or most of his life for that matter, he would have been a higher percentage three-point shooter. So that's where like stats kind of get in the way. Because you know how it is, Lamont. If you ain't hoop like that, if you ain't coach like that, all you're going to do is look at the box score. We know how it go. Highlight film, box score. That's the good way for anybody who's anybody can act like they know the game. But if you played the game, you know it's deeper than that, and it's hard to convey that to a lot of people without coming off pretentious, without coming off as like you are belittling somebody. But you know, like I know, if we saw it at a certain level, it's just like, dog, it's just how I see it because I know the numbers don't always tell the story. I'll give you an example. My 2 years in college, bro, I shot 58% from three. 58%. So by the numbers, I'm like one of the greatest three-point shooters that ever lived. They don't show that I shot like 11 threes all year. You know what I'm saying? So numbers lie. So you got to understand the whole body of. I mean, I can shoot it, but it wasn't my game. You're not gonna win with game planning me from shooting threes. But if you leave me open, I'm a big man. I'm shooting that bitch, and it's gonna go in more likely than not. But you don't game plan around me shooting threes. I'm not a volume shooter. So nuance is, I guess, the word I'm looking for. And so I think it's so important for these conversations. And it's hard to convey it to people if you never really played that level because it just means nothing to you.
But I think with like a player like Bird, even with he shot less threes, even though he didn't shoot that great percentages, when we talk, almost anybody you ask, when you tell them to name the top 5 shooters all time, almost everybody's going to include Larry Bird. Like I think everybody already understands that with Bird. But I think when it's time to use that same train of thought when you talking a GOAT conversation, people is real hesitant to use that same sentiment when it's about Wilt and Bill Russell and how those guys would have adapted. How would they have adapted their games into the 90s? You know, not just today's game. How dominant would those guys have been in the 90s against Jordan? So that's the things I like to talk about and look at. But you definitely dead on with a lot of that.
Well, I'll do you one better. These same people won't give Larry Bird comparison to LeBron because as far as career achievement, damn near did similar in half the time. But you see Larry Bird, some spot-up shooter who, if you go deeper in the stats, when you try to have this conversation, oh, well, he only shot 30-some% from three, like because he didn't shoot them shits. So it's levels to the intricacy of explaining somebody's career who's what you would call a household guy. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And that's why I think these debates are necessary. And I'm glad it didn't get disrespectful because nothing wrong with disagreeing. Like, I got to give a shout out to Suave in the chat. He was pushing back on everything, but like, dog, this needs to happen because if you really understand sports, you understand that it's levels, dog. There's so many things that you could pick apart that you got to have a standard created. And if you don't have a standard, it's going to be really hard to find a consensus or you're just going to say anything. So you'll say, oh, yeah, Larry Bird, great shooter. But then if you have a shooter conversation with somebody, you start going to basketballreference.com, you're going to have a bad time. It's going to be hard for you to justify your statement. So with people who understand how great Larry Bird was, who played left-handed the whole game, scored 42 points just to prove a point, you don't even respect it because you don't even know those stories. So that's why I think, again, this whole thing, this whole premise, I'm glad when you came up to give pushback because I know how you roll. It's what it is. But I think it's good. It's good for the whole thing that we do, which is sports debating, talking about the game that we all grew up on because it's necessary. It's very necessary, man.
Big facts right there, man. That was a good conversation. I got to get out of here because I gotta walk this dog real quick. But
man, do your thing, bro.
Definitely I'm gonna go back and listen to what he was saying earlier because I didn't get to listen to everything he said. But man, you got to bring these. You be finding these hidden gem people, man. You gotta let me know when you bringing them on, man.
It just be happening, bro. I be in the Black Manosphere. I met Sub-Zero in Atlanta. He was very passionate. I made a speech, and he gravitated towards me, and we started talking shop. I'm like, man, let's do a thing about LeBron. I'm like, shit, let's do it. So it's random, bro. But yeah, man.
Because I gotta I want to bring you in on the panel. I'm not gonna do it live because this is gonna get real crazy. But I got Doug Collins. I already did part 1 to it, but I want to do a part 2. But when I do part 2, I want to have some other content creators on the panel where I know it's not gonna get crazy, just to bring a different line of questioning on some of the things he talked about.
All right, just let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. Same information. Yeah. And man, I'm always about talking my ball, man. This is what I do. This is what I've done. That's me, bro.
All right, man. I'm gonna hit you up, man. Appreciate it.
Already, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I went double cast today. I gave y'all two fantastic shows, man. If you want to hit the Cash App, you can. I know I didn't ask that much because we was in the minutia, as it were. C Franks 11. If you want to hit the super chat on the way out, you can. But I mean, I really want to give y'all like quality content. That's why I don't post all the time because sometimes I get like, ugh, I don't feel like, because I know when I go in, I'm gonna have a 2-hour show, maybe 3. But I want to give y'all some quality shit. I want y'all to take something away from it, whether you agree or not. At least it's something like, you know what? Damn, that's something I ain't think about. So next time I argue this, maybe I can take this to the next conversation. So I hope that's what I bring to this space, and that's what I hope y'all got from this discussion, man. It went better than I expected, to be perfectly honest with you. So till next time, man, I appreciate all y'all who support the channel, support the brand. And Kendrick Perkins, as always, brother, take us home.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.